How are you doing? Welcome back to another video where we are tapping into the 12-fold archetype or architecture, really. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, I want to welcome you. If you are a returning subscriber, I want to say, hey, my guru, welcome back. All right, my name is Kamoy. Now, the purpose and the intention of these videos is to help you navigate through all of this beautiful energy in the quasi era, which is the quantum era, where you're not just physically tapping into energy, but you are also emotionally and mentally becoming aware of your energetic bodies on those planes. Okay, so every time you speak a word, every time you take a breath, every time you have a thought, you are creating sacred geometry. All right, now you are the ancient technology, and the way through this technology is your body, and everything is being navigated using your nervous system. So my purpose here in these videos is to help you to connect your nervous system to the color span, to the 12 strand DNA, to the 12 zodiac signs, to the 12 disciplines, to the 12 disciples, to the 12 directions, to the 12 tones of love. All right, there's so many systems of 12, and they are all connected. So my goal here is to help you to see how they fit and how they play out in your day-to-day life. All right, so first thing we're going to do is go ahead and sound a tone. All right, and there is a purpose for this. You learn three ways. All right, you can either be programmed or reprogrammed or deprogrammed. Okay, just so you know. And the way that you do that, there are three ways that's done. All right, the first way is through symbols. All right, symbolism. All right, that's how your conscious mind learns, as well as repetition. Okay, and last but not least, trauma. All right, so we've all been programmed through some form of symbolism, right? Like the medallion sign, you know exactly what that sign means and what that represents. So the Apple logo, you know what that sign means and you know what that sign represents, right? Or rather that symbol. Okay, so just so you know, symbols are all over, and that is how your subconscious mind works, is through symbols. All right, so we all see symbols, we all see repetition happening, whether it's in the news, whether it's you're studying something, whether it's a content in which you consume mentally, whether it's the same emotional feeling that you have when you're triggered. Okay, and then trauma. We don't have to go too far for trauma. Everybody has had some type of traumatic experience, or everybody's aware of someone that may have had some type of traumatic experiences. Okay, so my goal here is to teach you about energy and how energy unfolds in your everyday life through all of these systems of 12, and how you are responsible not just for the energy that you put out, but also for the energy that you take in. Okay, with that being said, all right, we're gonna go ahead and grab our waters. Okay, get your bottle of water, and we're going to sound these tones. Now, the purpose for the water is because if you do not know, you are mostly made up of water. You have over 1 trillion cells in your body, and each one of those cells has its own orbit and its own universal activity going on in you. All right, so we're going to program the water, so whatever messages is coming through, whether you hear something that motivates, inspire, brings up healing energy for you to tap into, whatever it is. Okay, we're going to charge this water, so whatever happens in this particular transmission, once you drink the water is also charged with the message. All right, now once again, this is also about symbology. This is also about symbology. Okay, so me repeating things and me sharing the water method, okay, or the water quantum method with you. Okay, this is all about symbology and waking you up to the internal power that you have. All right, this is about remembrance. So ascension is essentially you remembering who you are. All right, so you're going to hear 4 tones. The first tone is going to represent your thoughts. That's air energy. That's the element of air. That's your thoughts, that's your thinking. All right. You're going to hear second tone that is going to represent your emotions, or the water element. Okay. So your emotions or your creativity or your intuition is represented by the water element. The third tone is going to be the fire element. This is your action. This is movement. Okay. And the fourth tone is going to be the tone of earth element, which is the physical realm, manifestation. So this is your job, money, etc. Okay. Now, if you hear a fifth tone, that is because one of the tones was static, and we need to make sure that the ear is cleared. Okay. So if you want to do more research on tones and sound bowls and stuff, go ahead and you can do that. All right. As to the science behind this. Okay. So first tone. Let me fix the sign here. Okay. First tone. I can tell you right now, we're going to redo the first tone because that was flat. That means that there's still static in the field that I need to clear. First tone repeated. That was much better, but that also lets me know that we definitely need to tap into the ear element in this reading, which is your thoughts and your mental field, your mental body, all right? That's telling me that there's a message here for your mental thoughts, which kind of lines up, right? Because one of the messages I got as I was taking notes today was choose something new, okay? Second tone. That was actually really beautiful. Third tone. Fourth tone. Okay, that fourth tone didn't linger. That which is your earth element. Okay. As a matter of fact, let's just do that one again. It wasn't static, but it felt dense. Let's do that again. Okay. All right, so just energetically, what I'm picking up is that we definitely need to pay attention to our thoughts in this energy, okay? Emotionally, I feel that was very grounded in the tone. As far as the fire tone, where action is required, that energy, when I sounded that tone, it felt very like you still have to take your time with things. There's no forcing, allowing things to flow, okay? The fourth tone, which is the earth tone, your physical tone, the manifestation tone, both tones felt very dense, okay? It felt very dense and it felt very heavy, which says to me, be very mindful not to force things, okay? Be very mindful not to force things. You need to tap into your air element, which is your thoughts, and your water element, which is your intuition and your emotions, all right? Now, bottom of the deck energy is soul time. The frequency of soul time. Ooh. And you know, I do this all the time, y'all. First of all, let me just go ahead and bend the camera so you can see. And there is a glare. So we're going to change our light in here. Let's change the light in and see if that's better. Because that glare, we need to get rid of that glare. Okay, that's a little better. Maybe if we soften that light a little. Let's see, y'all. Okay. That's a little softer, and we're going to back it up off of the glass. So, all right. I really don't like that lighting. We're going to change that again, y'all. This seems to be softer, so let's stick with this and then my glasses. Okay. All right, as I was pre-shuffling the cards, this popped out at the bottom of the deck, and I just wanted to go ahead and tap into this for a second. The frequency of soul time asks us to allow the possibilities of a new reality to emerge, one that embraces the concept that while the corporal body is mortal, the soul is timeless, limitless, and infinite. Okay, so that kind of fits into the message that I was told earlier as I was meditating today on the transmission and the messages that was coming through for you guys, okay? It's time to choose something new, right? It's time to choose something new. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and tap in to the message in its entirety, okay? First of all, I want to go ahead and tell you we're still in the color band of deep red and the love tone of safety, and red orange and the love tone of trust. We're still dealing with safety and trust, which means we're still dealing with your brainstem, your medulla, your pons, and your vagus nerve. Okay, so we're talking about your breathing here. We're talking about your heart rate. We're talking about your blood pressure. We're talking about your sleep, right? Your motor and sensory signals, your digestion, your mood, your immune system, your speech, your taste. All of this is affected, my loves, right? When you don't feel safe or you don't trust. Okay? Did you know that your breath is affected, which means you're not breathing deeply, right? You're not really allowing yourself to relax, which means your sleep is off. That affects your mood, right? Then your immune system can't be in full effect, right? So what we're doing here is showing you how your day-to-day life, just by you not feeling safe, just by you not trusting, affects your health and affects your nervous system. All right. So these messages are for that. All right. So now we've charged the water by sounding the tones. Okay. We charged the water by sounding the tones. All right. Let's just go ahead and read what the first card represents. The first card is going to represent and ask you a simple question. The question that it's going to ask you is, are you operating in safety or survival mode for whatever situation you got going on right now? What mode are you operating from? From a mode of safety or a mode of survival? Are you operating from a mode of feeling trapped, right? Or are you operating from a mode of trusting, right? Coherence where things are clear. Although you may not know the answer to everything, right? You know that you don't have to figure it all out, right? You don't have to figure it all out. You don't have to know it all right now. You don't have to be the one to have all of the answers. In this moment right now, as you just allow your shoulders to relax, allow yourself to take a deep breath. The thing that's arising in you right now, that comes up in you right now, my question to you is, are you moving in a mode of safety or survival? What state of safety are you moving in? Right? Remember, survival feels like you're not in alignment. Survival feels like everything is forced. Right? Survival don't feel like everything is happening from a place of synchronicity. Survival don't feel like you can trust people. Survival don't feel like you have a support system. Right? Survival feels like I got to get you before you get me. Here's some questions that you can ask yourself, right? When you drop into your body, right? Do I feel fearful around this situation, around this person, when I think about this particular thing? Is there fear? Is there a sense of urgency, like I'm out of time? Does it feel like things are collapsing all around me? Or do you feel grounded? Do you feel present? Do you feel supported? These are things that your body are going to tell you, but you got to pay attention to your body. Know thyself, and to thine own self be true. Consciousness. The frequency of consciousness supports our ability to focus our attention on all the multidimensional aspects that shows up so that we can introduce them into our reality. Didn't I tell you the overall message is choose something different? Man, we've been operating from a place of shame and guilt for so long, right? We've been taught that shame and guilt is normal, right? It's a normal. Shame and guilt, when you're operating from a place of shame and guilt, you're operating from a place of survival mode. When you're operating from a place of regret and victimhood, you're operating from a place of survival mode. Because at the end of the day, we all make mistakes. There's nobody around on this earth that have not done something that they may not necessarily be proud of. That if they had an opportunity, that they may not necessarily do it differently. So the overall tone here is tap into your consciousness. There are two areas of your life that you need to be aware of when it comes to the spiritual walk. Your subconscious and your consciousness. Your subconscious is the one that's an autopilot. That's the one that you have to reprogram. Your conscious is the creative aspect, the part of you that's present in real time. All right, clarify the tone. What do you want us to know about consciousness? What do you want us to know about consciousness and reality? You got confusion and illusion, Neptune energy showing up here. And just so you know, Neptune energy taps you into your highest spiritual evolution. Taps you into you really. See, Neptune is co-ruler of Pisces. Pisces is at the end of the zodiac. Pisces archetype is I understand or I believe, right? Now, I like to go with I understand. Because being at the end of the zodiac, that sign is usually referred to in old astrology as being the energetic sponge or the sponge of the zodiac, right? Because by the time you get down the wheel or the circle to Pisces, you'd have went through 11 different houses that were supposed to help you to master archetypal energy that dwells within you and everybody on this planet, right? What are you walking around confused about? What are you walking around that you feel like is an illusion? What have you, or what do you need to take off the rose-colored glasses of? When you make this decision, or when you made that decision, was it from a place of feeling safe, or was it from a place of feeling you had no choice because you were in survival mode? Did you feel grounded and supported? Right? Memories and nostalgia is popping up. So, and you know what's interesting? Because someone from my past has been popping up in my spirit for the past couple of days. And this person did, like, this person really, really hurt me. And this was a situation where there was a lot of confusion, a lot of illusions, a lot of lies. Right? So now that I am on the other side of that, to feel that person's energy tugging at me, I'm paying attention to what my nervous system is asking me, right? Even the thought of this person doesn't make me feel safe. And if it doesn't make me feel safe, what's popping up, right, that I may need to address? Whether it is me, once again, energetically distancing myself, or, you know, if I have to do a spiritual bath, whatever I have to do, what do I need to do so I'm not sitting in this energy of this person's tugging at my energetic field? Am I vibrating at a certain frequency that I need to attune? Or maybe even realign, right? Because I've been around a lot of people, you know, within this past month, and I don't feel like I have gotten back to my regular normal routine yet. So it could be like energetically I need to reground myself. So as I started to go down and ask myself these questions, right, what I found was there was still some residual feelings about, like, how dare you even tug at my energy, like I'm not even focused on you. But it also let me know that there was still some things from that experience that I was holding on to energetically. Because at one point I found myself getting angry that you even popped up into my sphere. Okay. Can't make this up. Shadow work. That triggered something in me energetically that I needed to go in and do the work from. Consciousness is going to ask you to operate in your creative mind, not your autopilot mind. See, because if you're going to choose something new, you can't operate and choose from a place of autopilot, because what you are automatically reflexing to do, or that's not even the word, reflexing. What you automatically, or your automatic reflexes, might be to curse somebody out, might be to put your guard up, might be to walk away when you need to speak up, right? So if it lands within one of these categories and you need to do something different, speak up, because you need to be heard. Let your guard down, because this person actually makes you feel safe when you're with them. There is trust being built. Maybe don't say anything else because you've already said enough, right? So consciousness is going to require you to be present. Your subconscious is just on autopilot. So what have you programmed your subconscious that was full of confusion and illusions? What's showing up now in your life that may have you feeling, I don't know, I don't even know. Tap into your spirit guide. What this tells me is you need to get you some time where you can ground yourself. This fur card placement is always going to require you to ground yourself, because you're not going to be able to make a decision from a place of safety if you're operating from a place of survival mode. Remember that your emotions are indicators to tell you exactly where you need to go or where you are energetically. They're not made for you to get stuck. They're not. They're not. They were never made for you to get stuck. So energetically, when we're dealing with your nervous system, we're talking about your brainstem, your medulla, your palms, but they're responsible for your breath, your sleep. When you don't have no sleep, you're irritated, your heart rate, your blood pressure. When you're stressed out, high cortisol levels. There's a science behind this. All right, so the next card placement, the question that you're going to be asking yourself, right, is what emotional patterns or relationship patterns that's activated that you're repeating in this particular situation, right? What emotional patterns or relationship patterns you're repeating in this situation? This is the looping energy here we're pulling. This is the energy that's looping. This is the looping energy. All right. Can you give us the looping energy, make it clear? It's time for us to choose something new. Ugh! Oh my gosh, I can't make this up. The energy that's looping right now for you to step into, not step out of, but to step into, to resonate from, is peace. And you know, whenever peace shows up, I like to tell y'all that's really wholeness to me. I've been collecting peace for years. It's now time for me to tap into my wholeness. When you pray and ask for peace, what shows up is situations in your life, right? That's going to get you to exercise that peace. So you don't want to be praying, asking for peace. Peace is not something you want to pray and ask for. Peace is something you need to know that you have all of you. You are whole. When you cry and you say, oh, universe, give me peace, or oh, Lord God, give me peace, that's you saying, send me situations where my peace can be tested and I can master it. So you don't want to pray for no peace. You take dominion over your peace and your wholeness. And this is the way to do it. Tapping into your own inner being. That is never going to guide you wrong. What emotional patterns and relationship patterns are operating right now? It's saying peace. You don't have to respond to everything. You don't have to say everything you think. Sometimes that little voice that pop in your head to let you know and give you a heads up on what's going down, that's for you. That's not for you to share with anybody else. In this placement, the energy that you are looking for to make sure that you're aligned with your peace and to make sure that you're looping in a beautiful energy, right? Because if you're going to loop, you want to loop in something beautiful. You don't want to loop in something that's going to be causing you more disappointment and more, misery. You don't want to do that. Or you're reactive and projected, or you're dealing with somebody that's reactive and projects. That's how you know you're in survival mode. If you're reactive and projecting, you're in survival mode. If you're emotionally mature and emotionally fluent to speak that in which you are feeling, and you're attuned in what you are feeling, then you're going to get different experiences. Some of you are creating your own internal limitations because you're allowing other people to snatch your peace. Whether it's mentally, emotionally, or even physically. You cannot change people. You cannot make people do what you want them to. You can explain and express to people how what they do make you feel. But at the end of the day, the only person that's going to respect your peace to the fullest degree is you. The only limitations that can be set for you, is the ones you give yourself. See, people set limitations for you, but you got to agree with those limitations. Are you operating from a space of reactivity and projection, or are you dealing with a situation where they're projecting and they're reacting? And how are you handling it? Are you doing the same thing? Or are you tapping into your emotional maturity? Speaking your truth, being attuned, and not expecting the person to change, but just as you know. What limitations? See, and this is happening in your committed relationships, at home, family. Remember, I told you a lot of the change that you're seeing is happening from relationships. Divine intervention is happening right now because for a lot of you, this situation can physically take you out. Because you just don't have the energy to give, and it's fucking with your nervous system. It's fucking with your health. The energy collectively that we're moving in right now is saying keep that same energy. What you resonate on is what's going to be bouncing back to you. So you're going to have to choose something different. And everybody's not going to be happy with your choices, especially once you start to make choices that no longer compliments people in their negative shit. You don't have to explain to everybody your spiritual walk and why you're moving the way you're doing. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. Let's look at this next card and see where this energy is unfolding. And the question we're asking ourselves for this particular card is, where is truth seeking to be expressed or recognized? Consciousness is saying, I need you to be present. I don't need you to be an autoplay no more. I don't need you to be an autopilot no more. The Knight of Cups is unfolding by somebody coming in with some type of message. An offer maybe. Remember, this placement right here is asking you to look at your voice and your perceptions and your truth. This is your truth lens. We're going to clarify this. What is the truth lens saying? This is the truth lens. Clarify the Knight of Cups. Not a message. I'm sorry. The Knight of Cups is an offer. There's an offer happening. This is unfolding with an offer. There's an offer. Something is being offered to you. And I really feel like, I can't make this up. What's being offered to you is fulfillment of your wishes. But you can't get there without tapping into your consciousness. Your subconscious is an autopilot. The looping energy is there is an offer here of wish fulfillment. But you got to check in with your nervous system. You got to pay attention to your breath. You got to get proper sleep. You know. You got to watch your stress levels. Your stress levels. Your mood is going to affect your digestion. Your immune system. Come on, y'all. Wish fulfilled. You have assistance here. Time to detach from things that no longer serve your greatest and highest good. Of evolution, of ascension, of remembering. It's time to detach. There is an opportunity here for freedom. You just got to take that leap of faith. This is how this is unfolding. Transcendence is yours to have. Unity consciousness, balancing your masculine and your feminine side. Letting go of limitations and fear. And you probably have, or around people, that this is how they move. They move based on limitations and fear and control tactics. And that could be the illusion. Some of you are waiting around for an apology that you may never get. So you may have to give that apology or give that forgiveness to yourself that you're waiting for somebody else to give to you. Because whether or not, if you realize it, just holding on energetically and feeling away energetically because somebody hasn't said, I'm sorry, that fucks with your nervous system. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Just holding on to anger, being angry at somebody and plotting revenge for somebody, that messes with your nervous system and it puts it in stress mode. Okay? So if you're around here operating in guilt, regret, revenge, victimhood, rage, anger, all of that stuff is not helping you energetically or physically. All right? Now we're going to take a look at how you're supposed to navigate this energy, right? You know you're supposed to be choosing something different. So how are you supposed to move by choosing something different? I can't make this up. Tap in the source, the sun. This card is number 18. 1 plus 8 is 9, completion. Tap in the source. Get quiet. Maybe stop asking everybody what you should do and be quiet and listen. Ground yourself. The question you ask yourself here, how is this situation being reflected through others or even in the collective? Like, how is this being reflected? How am I being reflected through other people or the collective? How is this bouncing back to me? Is this bouncing back to me in misattunement, heaviness, density, confusion, separation? Or the things that I'm thinking about feeling are sending out a resonance where it's a mutual recognition of, like sources. Like I'm really moving in. I am divinely covered, protected, honored, loved, cared for. There is no limits on me, to me, except for the limits that I give for myself and I see for myself. Sources saying you got to do something different if you want something different. Clarify how to navigate. Clarify the sun card. Sun card is ruled by Leo. Or Leo, well, the sun rules in Leo, rather. Okay? Leo is all about confidence, willpower, and determination. But it can also be narcissistic. It can also be toxic. It can also be very well self-seeking and self-serving. This energy is asking you to pay attention, to be mindful of what's being reflected back to you, or projections either you're sending out or the projections from other people. People will project their shame and their guilt on you, and even their regret. Like they the one that messed up and did you wrong, but now they regret it, but now they're trying to project and make you feel bad for them messing up, for fumbling the ball, for fumbling you. Is this situation, this relationship, this issue causing you to feel separated, misaligned from source, not confident within yourself? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like you can trust here? Do you feel like you can be yourself? Even if this is something new, is there passion? Is there chemistry past the physical? Are you rushing into something because of guilt? Or are you self-sabotaging this because you are still choosing old cycles? You're not speaking your truth. It's time for you to choose something different. Integration, union. No more separation of self. No more separated from the things that you desire to experience. All right, this last message from Spirit. This is your Spirit message. And this question you got to ask yourself. What choices can I make in clarity and coherence and wholeness, right? Where I'm not looping, where I'm not rigid, where I'm not acting from a place of shame or guilt or regret. I'm acting from a place of wholeness. My actions and my thoughts and my emotions are aligned. You got justice. You need to know that, man, listen. Don't nobody get away with nothing. You don't have to hold on to what people done to you. You don't have to hold on and wait for an apology. You don't have to sit and wait for closure. Sometimes you need to give your own self closure. Freedom. Bottom of the deck is loyalty. This is all yours to step into if you choose something different. You can then begin to attract loyal people, loyal situations, relationships where you're free to be truly who you are, where you don't have to shrink yourself down to have someone else to feel big, where both of you recognize each other. You see the beautiful divine in them and they see the beautiful divine in you. It is time for you to choose something different. Pay attention to the deep red color as you're moving throughout your day. All right, remember, deep red is going to help you to tap into the question of love tone safety. Do you feel safe? Pay attention to the red-orange color, okay? That's your indication for you to ask the question, am I trusting this situation, this person? Pay attention to where it lands in your body. Is your breath short? Do you feel like you have to tighten your chest and you can't breathe fully? Do your shoulders feel heavy? Is your mood off because this situation or this person has been in your mind or in your spirit where you haven't been sleeping? Like, these are things that you can begin to pay attention to let you know where you may need to start working on your internal healing energetically. Because energetically, it does affect you on the physical realm if you do not begin to deal with the energetic part of you. Everything is energy. Everything is energy. You are literally trillions of energetic light cells vibrating. That's making you look like you have a human body. Okay? You don't believe me? Go look it up in science. Science has come that forward. They can't prove that. Okay? All right. With that being said, all right, my gurus, my lovely, lovely gurus, I want to thank you guys for going ahead and showing up for yourself. Okay? I will also want to let you guys know that you need to go ahead and do something kind for yourself, not because of anybody else, but because you should. You should always be kind to yourself, always be patient with yourself, always be forgiving with yourself, always be generous with yourself, always be genuine with yourself, flaws and all, because it is in your imperfections that you find your perfection. And we are not looking externally anymore for anyone to validate us. We are validating ourselves internally, and then we're allowing that validation internally to get verified externally. That's how we're doing that in this new energy. Okay, so do something kind for yourself because you absolutely friggin' should. All right, and do something kind for somebody else, not because you should, but because you can. Because happiness is contagious, right? Laughter is contagious, and confidence is contagious. So why not? All right, my loves. This is our journey through the 12-fold architecture and archetypes. All right, where we're going to be merging all of the systems into a cohesive understanding of the ancient technology, which is you, okay? And that technology is coming alive through your nervous system and your DNA, all right? So this is just a way of us tapping into connecting all of the dots. I love each and every one of you, my wonderful gurus, and I will see you guys in the next video, all right? We're going to go ahead and sound the tone to close out this message and this transmission. Bye, my loves. Transmission is over.